Here we go, so he's done quite well there. Sit down. Sit. Sit. That's fine. Sit. Alright, so we make our dog sit so we can sign him off. We say, good boy Albert, and lets him know the job's done. Good boy mate, off you go. Away. Here. Off you go mate. So he's quite a young dog, but he's done quite well there. He's signing off, needs a bit of work. But what we do when we sign the dogs off, that just lets them know the job's done. Part of their training, so they'll do that. Alright. Now all these sheep we just brought in here, these are all female sheep, these ones. Female sheep, they're called ewes. We've got the boys here as well. Now we call the boys rams. We've got two boys, Pete and Trev. Meet the boys, Pete in front, Trev behind him. Now the boys are only kept for breeding purposes on a farm, but they are kept separate most of the time. So that's Pete's make more sheep. So these are our two friends, Pete and Trev. In you go boys. That's the boys. And that's the girls. Alright. Now we're going to move the sheep again. This time we're going to move the sheep over here into the catching pen. So that's where the shearer catches these sheep from. We bring them out through the gate and we shear the sheep out here. So we're going to use Rusty for this. Rusty's our oldest dog. He's about 12 years old nearly. And Henry is our youngest dog. He's 7 months old. So we've got the old and the young here. Sit. Good boy, sit Rusty. Sit and wait. So what we're going to do with the dogs here is I'm going to send them, wait, around behind the sheep. When I'm ready, wait. And the dogs will go behind the sheep will always move away from the dogs.
I'm going to throw that one.
Back into the catching pen. Good boys, let's go.
I'm going to throw this one now.
Now Henry's quite young, obviously. This is one of his little jobs he gets. Round you go, boys. Round. Round, Henry. Good boy. So just by the dogs being behind the sheep there. Good boy, Henry. Push him up. Good boy. So you can see Henry there following the sheep around. The rest didn't do much. So that's alright. Henry's got the idea there. But now we need to tie the dogs off again. So we make them sit. Can we sit, guys? Sit. Good boy, Henry. Henry gets a pat to sign him off. Off you go, mates. Good boy. Away he goes. Did a good job there. And Rusty, can you sit? Rusty didn't do much, but he gets a pat anyway. Good boy, Rusty. That signs him off. Off you go, mate. So a very important step, signing the dogs off, lets them know the job's done. And they're good to go back. Alright. Time to shear one of these sheep. When we shear the sheep, we use the shearing plant to do this. So that blue thing, that's the electric motor. That's the power we need. So you hear that driving down through that flexible shaft when we switch it on. On the bottom is this tool, the handpiece. Two separate blades. There's a comb on the bottom, that's a fixed blade, and it combs through the wall. On top is a small blade. The cutter. So the cutter is the one that moves back and forth, cutting all the wool off. It's fast, it's sharp, it's noisy, it's quite dangerous. So this is the modern way we shear our sheep. So that's the easy way. A long time ago, it wasn't quite as easy. It all had to be done by hand, using the shears. So around 100 years ago they used these. At that time here, just in Australia, we had around 70 million sheep, which all need to be shorn by hand. Back then the shearers would work for 10 hours a day with these, shearing 70 to 80 sheep each. Today it's a lot easier. We can now shear twice that many, 150 up to 200 sheep in one day. It's come a long way, it's a lot easier for the shearers. This was also invented to make things a lot easier. Invented by a shearer, this one. He had a very bad back. He couldn't shear sheep anymore. How did he get a bad back in the first place? Bending over, yes, shearing sheep. Bending over all day. So what's this for then? For the sheep? No, this one's for me. The shearer jumps in here. Looks like good fun. It's not a swing, it's actually called the back aid. So we jump inside and the spring's actually supporting half your weight. So you're up and down all day. That takes quite a bit of strain through the back. Alright, let's grab one of these sheep out. I'll show you how we shear it and Lee will explain to you what happens as I'm shearing one of the sheep.
So when the shearer catches the sheep, the first thing he does is he turns it upside down very quickly. This gets the sheep off its legs and that way it's completely under control and it can't get away. Now the shearer starts the shearing by removing the belly wall. And the belly wall, once it's been removed, is kept separate to the rest of the wall. This is because the belly wall needs to be processing to other walls. When a sheep lays down on its belly, it picks up the other bodies from the ground. Mainly vegetable matter such as grass seeds and birds and pickles. These are really hard to remove from the wall. Now, in a commercial shearing set, there'll be more than just one shearer, usually 4 or 5 working together, and they call them a team of shearers. They'll start work at 7:30 in the morning, work for 2 hours, have a break and a cup of tea, work for another 2 hours, and so on for an 8-hour day. So the operator heads out, and when the shearer sees the sheep's head, he must be very careful about the eyes and ears. The neck is the most difficult part of the sheep's shear, and as you see, the hand piece goes underneath the wall, and the shearer has to feel for the skin before opening up the wall to where it's going. In Australia, we shear mainly merino sheep, that's the breeding sheep. Merinos are very wrinkly and have lots of loose skin all over their bodies, but mainly around the neck. They run like the peacock shearers as having a haircut, and when you get your haircut, it doesn't hurt. You look neat and tidy for a while, but as your hair continually grows, to fall off, you need to have it cut again, and it's the same with the sheep, except we only shear the sheep once a year. Now this part of the shearing is called the long blow. A blow means a stroke of the handpiece. And the long blow is the longest blow a shearer can do on the sheep. From one end of the sheep to the other, so he can remove a lot of wool very quickly when he does the long blow. A typical sheep farm in Australia will have about 5,000 sheep, and teams of shearers will travel around from one farm to another. Once they get to a farm, they will stay there until all the sheep are gone, and then the teams will move on to the next farm. The last side of the sheep is called the ripping side, and it's called that because it's the fastest side to shear. Having already removed most of the wool, all the shearer has to do now is go just down the last side very quickly, so he can finish that sheep, get out another one, and shear as many as he can in a day. A shearer will be paid about $3 per piece for every sheep they shear. It may not sound like very much, but when you consider that they can shear up to 200 sheep in one day, they are earning quite a bit of money. And there we have the lovely clean short sheep. Well done, guys. Let's give them a clap.
Goes. Now we're left here on the floor with a pile of wool. This is called a fleece of wool. Inside a shearing shed, we have workers called rouseabouts. One of the rouseabouts' jobs is to pick up a fleece of wool and throw it onto a wool table. We don't have a wool table here though, so I'm just going to throw this fleece onto the floor in front of us, just so you can see it a little bit better. Look at that little throw there. But you'll see that the technique of shearing is gets all of the wool still going together in one big piece. Now the reason why we do this is all the short wool, all the dirty wool from under the 4 legs, it all comes out to the edges now so we can remove all this wool. This process we call skirting the fleece, and we start down here on the back legs. So you can see that line of dirty stuff on the edge. You take that off, working your way along, up to the front legs here, and also some shorter wool from up around the top of the head there, around the neck. What we're trying to do here is just improve the value of the fleece, as all these short bits are less valuable than the main fleece wool. And these pieces are called pieces. That's easy to remember. So right there, merino wool. We've got some of the best and the finest in the whole world here in Australia. A fleece just like this one that will get made into all our men's suits, ladies' jackets, evening dresses, all the expensive stuff. So right there on the floor, it's around 5 kilos of wool. That's what the sheep will produce every year. 5 kilos is enough wool to make 3 complete men's suits. So we can make 3 suits all from just one fleece. 3 suits would cost you over $1,000 to buy. The value of this fleece is about $40. That's what the farmer gets for that. $40 for a fleece of wool. Into the wool press we'll go next. Now inside here, we can fit 40 to 50 fleeces. And with this machine, this is the old way you do it, swing it over and you crank it right down. You press it in very, very tight into a bale of wool just like these ones over here. But most of Australia's wool, we export it to many different countries. Where do you think the main countries we send our wool to? China. It sure is. Most of it goes to China. The bellies and the dirty pieces we just took off, they'll get made into all our woolly socks, woolly jumpers and blankets that are there. Now these little bits left here, these are all the locks, all these tiny little bits. They get kept as well, they get mixed together and made into a material called felt. Felt material, that's where that comes from. All these tiny little bits flying around there. That's an old felt hat, made from pure Australian merino wool, that one. That's your felt material. Alright, let's make some noise. The stock whip. When we're out mustering the sheep, we use the whip. When you crack the whip, this makes a very loud bang. So that's what gets the attention of the sheep, just a loud noise, we don't hit the animal, of course. Now cover some little ears if you like, this is pretty loud. I'll just give you a quick demonstration first to show you how we crack the whip. We go around. Okay. But we're riding a horse, so we don't want to hit the horse. 2 separate methods I can show you to make sure we don't hit the horse. First one we're going to show you is right over the top of the head. So if you're riding along, you go right over the top, and the other one is straight through up and down. So riding along nice and straight through, that way. That's the 2 main methods. One more time with no sound. Uncover your ears, see if you can see what happens to make the whip crack. There's no sound this time. If I slow it right down, you'll actually see what we're trying to do is change directions from forwards, back the other way. Forwards is one direction, straight, back, around, and back. And the faster you go, that loop gets faster and faster, and creates the loop, and then it breaks the sound barrier. That's what's happening, it goes faster and faster all the way to the end, flicks that part over faster than the speed of sound. It's a sonic boom we're hearing from that piece called the cracker. That's how the whip works. So who's first? Just the adults for this one, sorry mate. All the kids love to do this. Who wants to come and have a try at this? It's not dangerous, just as easy for the ladies. Who wants to come and have a try? Come on down. See if you can do this. Have you done it before? Never. Are you left or right-handed? Alright, jump in a circle for me there.